Today's topic is the fastest way to get rid of your sciatica. A big problem with sciatica tends to be the piriformis muscle. So this is the next level of the piriformis stretch. And we're going to use the foam roll. And I struggled with back pain for 23 years, and I have very specific exercises that I like to do. And one of my favorites is using the foam roll. I like the gym ball, I like the foam roll, I like the stretch, big fan of the squats. So I have favorites. And the reason I have favorites is because I tried all the other ones and these tend to help me the most. Why do we do this? We do this so you have the tools to live your life pain-free, so you make better decisions. Doctors are not obligated to report outcomes. We report outcomes, and our outcomes are good. Now, they're not the good, they're the best. So we've identified over the years that there's a 9-step strategy, and part of the 9-step strategy is corrective functional movements. This is one of our steps. A big part of what we do is we treat the disc. There's 6 different reasons, 5 main reasons, and 1 fairly common reason for sciatica. And most of the reasons of sciatica really are the pinching of the nerve in the disc. Typical spine looks like this. The head's up here, the hips are down here, 23 vertebrae. In between each vertebrae, there is a nerve that exits directly off of the spinal cord. And these nerves in the lowest back, they come out of an opening called the foramen. And it's through this opening that the nerve very often gets pinched. And it'll get pinched by the disc, and it'll get pinched by the bone. So the main causes of this nerve that then goes down the leg, which is sciatica, that we've talked about this 100 times, is bulging disc, where the disc pushes out a little bit, the herniated disc, the degenerated discs, all the variables that will compress the nerve as it comes out are disc related. There's also what we call stenosis, which is where you get a narrowing. Spondylolisthesis is where the vertebrae actually start to separate a little bit. But today we're talking about the piriformis syndrome. And the piriformis muscle attaches, whoops, boom, I'm gonna break my TV. The piriformis muscle attaches in this area right here between the hip and the spine, and what happens is that muscle tends to pinch the sciatic nerve as that sciatic nerve comes out. It'll pinch the nerve, so our goal is to stretch that muscle. Now, we talked last time about the piriformis stretch where you lay on your back. And what you do when you're laying on your back is you will bring your hip up toward your shoulder. So you bring, this is her left hip, up toward her right shoulder. And what that does is it stretches out the piriformis muscle. Piriformis syndrome is when the muscle gets overly active and overly tight. Usually it's compensating for another problem. So in this case, the goal is to get it to relax. And about 17% of the time, right here, people with low back problems have piriformis syndrome, meaning they have a tight muscle. Again, it's a compensational problem. It means the muscle has compensated for a weakness in a different muscle. So part of stretching it is there are other muscles that very often need to be strengthened, which is kind of the key to solving sciatica. So in this particular case, what we want to do, we've talked about the stretching of the piriformis syndrome, but today we're going to use the foam roll. When I have my back problems, I kind of got bored with a lot of the stretches and a lot of the exercises, but the foam roll tends to be more fun. We've talked about that before. Okay, so it's one of the things that I like to do. I like the foam roll, I like the gym ball. Some of the stretches, I like just the relief position stretch where you sit with, put your arms out like this. Okay, I like that a lot, and I think if you sit in a chair at all, ever, you need to do that. You need to do it too, Cody. Yeah, good. All right, so this is the piriformis stretch. This is just another way of doing it. And we're gonna do it using the foam roll. And we know the foam roll increases circulation, gets the blood to flow through the fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue. Gets rid of the pain, starts to stretch out the muscle, frees up where that nerve is being pinched. Increases flexibility, increases range of motion of your hips, very important. Well, I just said that. Increases performance, sports performance, okay? But also really good for people that walk. Okay, if you have to walk a lot, this is perfect. This is perfect for you. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you're going to sit on your foam roll. And what you're going to do is, in her particular case, this is obviously her right leg. She's sitting on her, what we call the glute, the right glute, which is the buttock. And the goal is to stretch that muscle right there along the buttock, which is also where the piriformis muscle is. So what you do is you sit on the foam roll with your foot on the ground. Now again, this is not a this is my disclaimer. This is not a diagnosis, nor is this a treatment. If you're going to do this, you have to see a doctor. Okay, and I don't want you to fall off the foam roll, so be very careful. But what she does is she sits here and she's going to make sure that this foot is solid on the ground, because you could flip off. So as you do that, you're going to bring the same way we did the other one, where she brought her ankle up to her knee. She's going to bring her ankle up to her knee, and she's going to slowly stretch it out. So bring it up, slowly stretch, and she's going to roll back and forth on her glute. Roll back and forth. And you want to do it 30 seconds each side. The more you do it, it's okay. It might get real sore, so you got to be careful. But you roll it back and forth. Now, sometimes this is too hard. Oh, I can't do that. So what you would do is you'd actually take this ankle here and put it right on top of that ankle, so you're crossing them further up in front of you. And then you try to roll that back and forth. That's what it looks like. This is the foam roll piriformis stretch. Try it every day. Again, this is part of our 9-step strategy. Everybody likes a little bit different exercises. This one tends to be more fun. If you don't have a foam roll, we are going to get a link for a foam roll so you can get a foam roll, because somebody asked about foam rolls. This one's a little harder. I like them a little harder like this. Okay, if they're too soft, they're hard to roll, especially if you're rolling on carpet like she's rolling right here. They also make them with dimples. And the dimples are for activating muscle spasm and breaking up trigger points. They tend to hurt more, and those are less forgiving. I think if you're going to do the advanced with the dimples, then you need to progress to it. You don't do it right away. If you do it right away, you're going to probably make yourself worse. But this is the one stretch that really people say, when I did that, I felt my sciatica was better. Okay, it may not be perfect, but it can be better, because you're really opening up that space where that nerve is being pinched from the tight muscle, which is the piriformis muscle. We treat a lot of sciatica. Piriformis syndrome is a very small percentage of the sciatica we treat, because piriformis syndrome, when you do the proper stretches and you have a piriformis problem, your pain goes away, and very often you can just do some stretching and it stays away. But in some cases, it's the disc. This is the herniated disc. We treat the bulging disc, the degenerative disc, the herniated disc, spondylolisthesis, stenosis, all the variables that compress the nerves. We treat them. So if you have a back problem and you're not getting better, you need to come see us. We can solve your problem. We do it better than anybody. There's 9 steps to solving this problem. So what I want you to do is I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want you to also follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter. And we'll have information for you. We're going to try to organize all of the exercise in a playlist on YouTube, so you can just sort of progress through them and watch them all. So take a look for that. Also, if you are on Facebook, like our Facebook page, share our information. We're here to help you. So be careful. Today's Wednesday. I think we're doing one tomorrow, right, Cody? Okay, we had a couple of days where we had to deal with some things, so we're back in action. So today's Wednesday. We'll see you Thursday, tomorrow. And we'll put a link on there for the foam rolls. We have a link.